Welcome, welcome. So, today I want to chat with you about repetition because all the time we are constantly repeating things in our minds. The thing is that it is either going to get you to where you want to go or it's actually stunting your growth. The best definition that I've ever heard of a goal and success is that is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. That's from Earl Nightingale. So what I want to do is I want to talk about first, how do you realize that worthy ideal? And how can you keep achieving your ideals or your goals one after another so that it's consistently happening and it's going on and you don't ever give up on them? Okay, I want to be clear on a couple things. Okay, first is that anytime you want to make a significant change in your life, whether you want to be earning a lot of money or you want to be ending world hunger, you're not just trying to fill your bank account or to feed more people. What you're trying to do is you're trying to change a paradigm. You're changing an idea, a belief, a habit. And these exist not only within you, but in those around you. The second thing I want you to know is that you can't change your paradigm with your will and grit and hard work alone. Okay, so if you get those two things, then we can move on. We're going to dive into repetition. Okay? The fact is there's two ways to shift those paradigms. Two ways to shift these limiting beliefs, habitual way of doing things in you. The first way is sudden emotional impact. And it hits you hard in your life. And it's like you start thinking differently after that. The thing is it's probably a negative, like a death or an act of violence, a natural disaster. It happens, you start thinking differently. So since we're not going to sit around and wait for a sudden emotional impact to happen, those are a little unpredictable. This is where I want you to lean into repetition. This is the second way to change your paradigm. Okay, it's that constant repetition, exposing yourself to the new idea that's actually going to take you where you want to go over and over and over and over again. So the point of the repetition, it's not to memorize the information. I want to be clear on that. For all of you that were like me up until yesterday, where you just were like, oh, I've read that book, I've done that course, I know that concept. It's not enough to know it at all. It's not enough to know it, because then you know it in one part of your mind, but then you don't do anything with it. So it's not to memorize the information so that you can regurgitate it to me. But what I want you to do is to take that idea of what is going to get you to where you want to go and impress that idea like an image. I want you to get emotionally involved with it. And when you do that over and over and over and over again, that's what's going to shift your paradigm. It is truly the mother of all learning. Repetition is one of the primary ways that we teach. And changing a paradigm is ultimately learning the new belief or habit. Because your paradigm can be tricky. It has you accepting the concept that if we can remember and repeat information, then poof, we've learned it. But that's not true, is it? We have a lot of people roaming the world, roaming the earth with a BA. They know the information. They went to university. They learned the information. They regurgitated the information and are working in jobs that they don't love. What did the information teach them? Okay, regardless of how often we've heard it or how many people believe it, that's not learning. It's just gathering information. And don't get me wrong, I 100% was an information gatherer. I'm not hating on you. You're like, oh, I have a BA and I'm not doing with it. I too had a BA that I did nothing with. And then I turned it into a master's that I did nothing with. And a whole lot of certificates that I wasn't doing anything with. Like, guys, when I tell you I had read all the books and done all the things and wasn't getting the results that I want, I'm not kidding you. It's real. 100% real. But this is why so many people continually get the same results over and over again. I did it for years. You take in all this information and nothing changes. And all of a sudden you're like, damn, 5 years just passed, 10 years just passed, 50 years just passed. And that's what makes us so frustrated, because it seems to be the older we get, the thing that we know to do gets further away. Okay? Learning is when you consciously entertain an idea, when you get emotional about that idea, you internalize it, that you start to act on the idea, you're in pursuit of it. And when that happens, that's when you can actively observe the results changing. Okay, so to consciously entertain an idea, this is your goal. This is what you want in your life. Maybe it's, I want my bank account to look this way. I want my labor of love, my work to feel this way. I want my relationships to look this way. I want my health to look this way. Whatever it is, consciously entertain it. Say, I'm not messing around. This is what I want. It's not a pipe dream. Then you have to emotionalize that idea, because that is the only way to move things from your conscious mind, where you can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch everything, into your subconscious mind, which is putting everything into motion. It's the only way to do it. And this is when that seed, that thought seed, will get deeply rooted. Let's say that you want to release 30 pounds in a year. It's a pretty good goal, a worthy ideal. But your paradigm, it wants you to stay the same. It wants you to stay the way you are. It doesn't want you to lose weight. And I can guarantee it is ready to throw up roadblocks to keep you at or near your current weight. It might have you release some just to gain it back. I was actually chatting with someone the other day. She's like, I released 30 pounds. And then at the end of the year, I looked and I gained back 35. So she had a 5-pound lesson. Right? When you start snacking on the carrot stick and you're hitting the gym, even then your paradigm's going to fight back. And it's going to say, come on. It's going to be great. You're going to that wedding this weekend. You're going to get to have your cheat meals. Or your time paradigm will come and say, you don't need to go to the gym. Just go later. You're too tired. You worked hard all day. Or don't get up early. You deserve to sleep. So you keep repeating your goal and impressing the image of what you want into your mind. Despite the fact that your habitual way of doing things is telling you to do something completely opposite. You repeat that. You have the image of you who has released 30 pounds and you hold it in your mind. That's actually your only job. And initially, the image of you, it's going to be weak. Because really, it's only in your conscious mind. But once you get emotionally involved with it, and you repeat that over and over, it's like it starts to turn up the soil of your subconscious mind so that you can just plant that seed. And then the more you impress the image on your mind, the stronger it becomes. It's like water and fertilizer. And eventually that old image, it weakens. And just like if I have 2 seeds planted, this is my old paradigm and this is my new and improved 30 pounds less me. When I'm constantly watering and fertilizing and giving this one sun and love and not to this one, I'm not giving any energy to this one. Just like a physical seed, it will wither and die. And this one will flourish and you'll resonate with this goal. And before you know it, you'll be 30 pounds lighter. People will ask you, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? Well, I didn't entertain my habitual thoughts. Guys, this process works for anything because it is perfectly aligned with all the natural laws. Okay, unlike the conscious mind, your subjective mind is just that. It's totally subjective. It accepts whatever you give it. So anything that you constantly say to yourself, write down, feel over and over again will eventually become fixed for you. You can't say, I desire to lose 30 pounds. And you might be eating this way and working out this way. But if every time you pass the mirror, you're critical of that dimple or that wrinkle, telling yourself that you're fat, that's a little bit mixed messages, wouldn't you think? Your desire is this, but this is what you keep repeating to yourself every time you see your own reflection. I can tell you what's going to win. It's going to be this. Every single time. If your desire is to release 30 pounds, you have to go there in your mind and repeat that over and over and over again. How would you feel in your body if you had released 30 pounds? What would that feel like? What would you wear? How would you walk? How would you stand? What would your confidence be like? Okay, so you create in your mind, you create them. And then when you pass the mirror, you talk to her in the mirror like you would talk to this person. We say the damnedest things to ourselves. Things that we would never, ever say to anybody else. I challenge you, next time you pass the mirror and you start talking to yourself, ask yourself, would I say this to my kids? Would I walk past them every time and comment on a wrinkle or a dimple and be critical of them every single time I pass them? No, you wouldn't. And yet it's a free-for-all. And you think, well, it's okay because nobody knows. Well, you know. You know what you say to yourself, and you say it over and over and over and over again. You keep repeating things to yourself like that, you know what? Eventually you're going to believe them. This is where you have to know where you are, but you got to know where you're going Create that person and become them. Get yourself in the environment that's going to support this guy. I want you to make sure that you write down that goal and become an actor. Write the script of you with your goal already achieved, and read it and reread it and read it and reread it. Memorize that script, internalize it, become the script, become emotionally involved with it. There's a very good reason that people say repetition is the mother of all learning. You don't believe anybody that says it's not. I want you to get very clear on what it is you want, and I want you to start showing up for yourself. And if you're not clear on what you want, I want you to reach out. I want you to book a call. That's what I want you to do. I'll help you get some clarity. And if you don't have the environment, we have that for you too. The key is you have to know where you're going and then repeat it. And you will shift all of those limiting beliefs one at a time. And you know what? You have your whole life to plug away at it. It's the best part. You don't have to conquer it by sundown. Remember, repetition is key. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Go repeat all the goods to yourself.